Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review. This time I'm reviewing The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. It was developed by Skybound and Skydance Interactive and published by Skydance Interactive and was released on January 23rd of 2020 on the Oculus Rift and Steam VR system and has just received a release of May 5th of 2020 for the PlayStation VR. It is a virtual reality first-person shooter where you play as a character in the flooded remains of New Orleans that has now become a brutal wasteland. And as you go around exploring the city, looting, crafting, and using regular and makeshift weapons against walkers and groups of people as well. Take one part Deus Ex and another part of first-person shooter VR and combine it together and sprinkle it over the top with a Walking Dead spin-off show. That's the best way to describe this game. Now, in this 15-plus hour-long adventure, you play as the tourist, a guy who ends up going to New Orleans after a friend tells him about this location called the Reserve, a massive stockpile of supplies. Now, along the way, you get several branching story parts and choices very similar to the Fallout series or even Mass Effect that allows you and your fully voiced character to make decisions. Now, the best part about this is the fact that you can make your decisions and be either good or bad, from everything from saving people who have been tied up or just flat out killing them. Hence the name of the game, Saints and Sinners. You can be good or bad. Now, the thing about this title is you have a very limited inventory from a backpack that you carry on your back at all times. Now, the way this works is whenever you grab something, and if you toss it over your shoulder, it puts it in the backpack. And at any time, if you want to actually retrieve anything out of the backpack, you reach back and you can grab the backpack and pull it in front of you, and then you can select whatever is in it to pull it out to either use it to make weapons or anything like that. Now, you also have an area on the front of you like a holster where you can have a pistol or a weapon there as well, and the other area is for your map that you can pull out and use. It's actually done quite well. I like that aspect. It does make it seem a lot more intuitive in terms of how you actually go about collecting items and actually taking them out of your backpack. So there is no like menu inventory that pops up. There is, but like I said, it's done cleverly to where you literally grab the backpack to pull whatever you have in it or out. Now, keep in mind, since this is a survival horror game, your weapons are breakable. Now, normally I hate breaking weapons, but in this it does make sense. And for the most part, most of the weapons have a good amount of durability before they break. And you can see them at any time by looking at them up close where they're at on their breaking area. Now, this game also does feature a stamina bar and a health bar for your main character, so you'll have to pay close attention to that. So basically, like you're actually like when you're shooting, you're aiming with your normal gun, looking down the sights. But when you have a melee weapon, you're actually physically swinging it, which is really cool. So I mean, honestly, you get a good workout in this game when you're killing zombies and people with melee weapons. But you have to watch your stamina, of course, because of this. If it gets too low, you cannot run away from enemies and you can't swing hard, so you have to make sure to have enough energy to get away to let your meter build back up. And of course, with the health as well, if you get injured, you can die. Now, the other thing about this game that's interesting is it has a day and night cycle, which is really interesting because as you progress through and the time changes, it'll become nighttime and you'll hear these bells toll, which represent, hey man, get back to your safe house and sleep for the night. And basically, you can stay out, but the zombie presence gets more and more throughout the night. It gets extremely dangerous to stay out at night. Plus, it gets hard to see, so you got to keep that in mind. And the aspect that's really neat about this is, as the game's story progresses, each nighttime that happens, they add more and more zombies into the game. So eventually, naturally, like in the actual show, you can end up with like no massive like zombie hordes of thousands of them. I mean, I don't think the game can handle that. But you end up with a lot more zombies you have to deal with compared to the start of the game. So you got to think strategically. Do you stay out at night a little bit longer than you should to kill the zombies so there's less to deal with during the day? Or you get a good night's sleep to make sure you're ready and fully loaded for when you go out with your exploration and gathering the following day. Now, the other thing about this is you gather stuff all the time. You're constantly looting and gathering items, and there's loads of different recipes that you can find for weapons and items and healing items and stuff like that, including hidden ones as well. And you use the scrap that you've collected throughout your adventure to make these different items by going back to your scrap bin at your upgrade station, which is your hangout. It's a bus, and you drop them in the scrap bin. And once you do that, depending on what the recipe requires to make the item, then you go out to the little workbench and you can pick the item and look at it, and it'll ask you if you want to create it. And that's how you can basically create different items. Now, the crafting workbenches are split into three different areas. You have your survival, your gear, and your guns, and each one of these I'm going to say upgrade pages can be upgraded to a level 10, and naturally the higher the upgrade level, the better the stuff you can get out of it. Survival normally consists of weapons upgrades, health items, and stuff like that. Gear is basically just like what you think gear for your character, like new shoes, new boots, stuff that adds a little bit of defense against stuff. And guns is self-explanatory. It's basically to upgrade and get better guns as you go through the game. Now, if you are killed in this game, you will lose a little bit of your stamina meter, and your health bar will go down a bit. So keep that in mind, and it kind of sucks when this happens. Plus, you lose all the items in your backpack and your gear, and you're pretty much given a limited time to get back to where you were killed to recollect your gear before it is gone forever. So kind of sort of a soft permadeath aspect to it. Now, the overall immersive controls in this game is really great. It uses the Move controllers, which I know they're not the best controllers out on the market, but they do work quite well for this title. And you use the Move controllers to be able to use your weapons. Everything from being able to cock your guns, to swing with a weapon, your bow and arrow, how you pull back to launch it. It's fantastic. Like medicine that you take, like if you're injured, you literally have to move your arm around like you're wrapping it with a bandage. Honestly, it's really cool. You don't duck by actually ducking in this game, which is kind of weird. Instead, there's a dedicated button that you press to get your character to duck whenever you want to. It's mainly because most of this game, you're playing it while sitting down, at least the PSVR version. Now, the other thing I have to point out is a lot of games have like a teleport feature for people to alleviate any sort of motion sickness while playing it. This game does not seem to have that. It seems to only have full movement control and no teleport. It does have like a snap turn move, where you can have it set for snap turning, and you can also help alleviate your sickness by turning down the field of view, that circle that the PSVR uses around it in the view. But honestly, once you play it for a little bit, you should be able to get used to it fairly well. And like I said, ducking is done with a dedicated button. Now, hands down, I gotta actually say some pros and some cons with this title. Pros are, I find it to be very immersive, and it's one of the few PSVR titles that actually stays true to the fact that this is a Walking Dead title. There's been other games in VR that feature zombies, but this one seems to be the best in terms of its overall immersiveness in the gameplay, with you talking with people, the choices you make, the collections of the stuff you gather, and the overall mechanics of the fighting. It's very well done, and I really do like it. The size of the game is quite well, as it's a large game. You do get a decent amount of gameplay for your money's worth for this being a VR title. Hands down, I really do like it. But now, as for the cons, it's not the prettiest looking game out there, okay? So it does serve its purpose. It's nothing earth-shatteringly beautiful, but it does serve its purpose in what it needs to do. Honestly, the AI of the zombies, you can get by with stupid AI and zombies because they're zombies. I'm sorry, walkers. But The AI of the human characters seems kind of dumb. They're not the brightest people, out there. So, that's just a minor problem. And the other thing I've noticed is as you progress through it and you get these decisions, after a while it kind of gets repetitive with all the different decisions you make of either sparing someone's life or killing them or helping somebody or just being a jerk. But in the end, it doesn't deter from the fact that, hands down, this is one of the best zombie games on the VR systems to date. This is how you do it. It's fantastic. And in the end, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, the overall cost of this title is $39.95, and it even has some DLC to it. Can I recommend this as a VR title? Most certainly I can. Just remember, it's a digital download only. They currently do not have a physical release for this game. So strictly, it is only a downloadable title, which is disappointing, but at the same time, oh well, not a big deal. I guess to keep the cost down or something, they just went with a digital download instead of physical. But definitely, in the end, I can highly recommend, if you have a VR system, pick up and play Saints and Sinners today. It's worth the price for the amount of content you get in this title. It is fun, it is nerve-wracking, it's very immersive, and in the end, this is an excellent way to have a zombie title in VR. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Please leave in the comments below if you played The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners and what did you think about it. Make sure to hit that like icon, hit the bell icon to stay updated whenever I release any new videos. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.
Hello. WTTJT here with singing but nothing but the hits. Here's the #1 song of the day called Mama Laka Booba Day. I'm gonna stab you in the face because it's a zombie trying to bite me all over the place, and it's the #1 top 40 hits. Yeah.